Last year, me and my boys all went to Miami for the weekend. At the time, we were all single and planned on living it up and partying. There was 5 of us total, and we got an Airbnb on South Beach. The first night we arrived, our plan was to go to a strip club. Personally, I'd never been to one before, but all my other friends had. We get to the strip club, and it's wild. There was loud music, sparklers going off, smoke machines, and girls dangling from the ceiling. It was crazy. We bought a section and started ordering drinks. Pretty soon we had girls come up to us asking to join. There was this one girl who was all alone. She had long blonde hair, curvy, and had this tight outfit on. She came right up to me and sat on my lap. She started telling me how her boyfriend is garbage and beats her, and she left him. Me, blindsided by this chick's beauty, entertained it, and we started making out. Moments later, we hear shouting from at the front of the club. All of a sudden, this big dude makes his way up to our section and sees me and this chick going at it. He threw her off of me like she was a rag doll. I had a strong feeling this must have been her boyfriend. He pulled out this gun from his waist and pointed it at me. I actually thought I was dead. He pulled the trigger and nothing happened. He unloaded the clip and showed me it was empty. He told me if he ever sees me with his girl again, he'll put a bullet in my head, so I'll have a closed casket funeral. I'm shitting bricks at this point, and I try to go up to security and tell them what happened. None of them cared. Apparently the boyfriend was one of the promoters at the club, and he had all the authority. I saw the guy and the chick both walk out, him dragging her by the shoulders. Be careful if you ever go out and a girl tells you she just broke up. I feel bad for her, but I'm ultimately just glad not to have a bullet to the skull. I used to work at a strip club back when I was in my 20s. I didn't have a father, and my mother pretty much abandoned me, so that's how I ended up there. I know we strippers get a lot of heat for our career, but it does make you a ton of money. Anyway, I usually work the later shifts, from 10 p.m. to 4 in the morning. I'm used to weird and awkward men hitting on me and treating me like a piece of meat. But there was this one guy who would come in. He always had his hood up and would sit in the far back of the club by himself. He would never spend money or talk to anyone, just sit by himself. Well, he was there one night when I was getting off work. I was dressed and walking back to my car. Out of nowhere, he just appeared. I think he was waiting behind a dumpster or something. It startled me. He stood directly in front of me, blocking my way to my car. He said he's been watching me for some time now. He said I'm beautiful, and I remind him of his wife, who was deceased. I nervously thanked him and tried to sidestep him to my car. He cut me off again. He pulled out something from his hoodie. It was red panties and a bra. He told me to put them on. They were his wife's, and he needs to see how I look in them. I told him flat out no, and tried to push him out of my way. He shoved me to the ground. He called me a stupid bitch. I ran back inside to get one of the bouncers. I came back out with 2 of them, but by then the guy was gone. I ended up staying at the club for an extra hour to make sure I was safe to leave. I finally make it back home. As I'm pulling up to my apartment, I see something hanging on my front door. I walk up, and it was the red panties and bra that man had from earlier. I got back into my car and called one of my friends to come over. I was too afraid to go into my place alone. My friend Jake stayed with me that night and kept me safe, but nothing happened. I only worked at that strip club for another year, and not once did that man come back while I was there. Always be alert, ladies. There are creeps everywhere. This happened back when I first turned 18. The first thing I wanted to do was go to a strip club. I'd always heard awesome things about them and wanted to check them out firsthand. It was a Saturday night, Both my cousin Matt and I went over to one we had in our town. Matt was 21, by the way, and had already been to multiple. We get there, and it's like I'm in heaven. I know I'll sound pervy, but I was never good with girls, and it was nice that they actually showed me attention there. I was really hitting it off with this one stripper, Zena. I'm sure that's not her real name, but whatever. She told me we could go to a private room in the back if I wanted to. Of course me, sucking with girls my whole life, agrees. My cousin Matt, who was getting a lap dance, gave the head nod of approval. Me and Zena get to one of the private rooms. It was super dark, and there was a sofa in there for me to sit on. I was so pumped. She gets on top and starts dancing. Things were getting heated when she suddenly just collapsed to the floor. I thought it was part of the act, but she started foaming at the mouth, and her eyes were twitching. I ran out of the room and told people who were working there what was happening. An ambulance had to be called, but ultimately, Zena ended up dying before she made it to the hospital. I found out earlier that night, a man had given her a drink, and it was laced with something. Whatever it was, caused her to go into cardiac arrest and die. Shit was absolutely terrifying. I haven't been back to a strip club since, but rest in peace to Zena. You didn't deserve that. I know this will sound strange, but me and my boyfriend love going to strip clubs together. I've never been the jealous type, and I'll even pay for the strippers to dance on him. Anyway, we were there on a Thursday night because we had nothing to do. We go so often there, we usually get discounts off our drinks and food. We were having a good time and throwing money on stage when I noticed a man staring at me from across the room. I'm not saying I'm ugly, but it was odd he was focusing on just me and not the naked girls on stage. I pointed this out to my boyfriend. He yelled a few words over to the guy to stop being a creep, and I thought that would be it. About an hour goes by, and my boyfriend went to go off and dance with one of the girls. Moments later, that man who was creeping on me sits right next to me. He was older, maybe 50s, bushy eyebrows and a huge nose. He leans right into me and starts saying my name, my boyfriend's name, our address and the cars we have. I tried not to panic and play it cool. He said he even knows my banking information. He said if I don't sleep with him in one of the back rooms right now, he'll drain both our bank accounts. I told him to fuck off, and I wasn't calling his bluff. He stood up calmly and said goodbye. A few minutes later, my boyfriend came back and I told him all about it. A few weeks go by and everything's normal. Then, we wake up one morning and find that both our bank accounts were empty. I'm talking literally $0 in each. We had to call our banks and fill out all these reports. To this day, we still haven't gotten back all of our money and have lawyers on the case. I don't know who the hell that man was, or how he knew everything about me and my boyfriend. It's terrifying what people can do nowadays. This happened back in 2019. I worked security at a strip club in downtown Atlanta. Trust me when I say things would get crazy in this place. I'd have to throw out drunk guys almost every single night. I guess some guys could never learn to control themselves or their liquor. The worst thing that ever happened there happened in October. The strip club was decked out to Halloween decorations and a fall vibe. The strippers were all dressed as zombies and monsters. I had just clocked in and was speaking with another coworker of mine. This guy comes walking in dressed in a ghost face costume. He looked like he was holding something large underneath his robe. I noticed it instantly and went over to approach him. When I did, he pushed me back. I stumbled a bit and saw him pull out this huge chopping axe. The guy ran past me and was making a beeline for the girls dancing on stage. I yelled for them to look out. The guy was swinging the axe wildly. People were running out of the way not to get hit. He jumped on stage and started attacking the girls. Me and my coworker both ran up and tackled the guy from behind. He was strong as hell, and it took another couple of people to hold him down. This all happened in literally less than a minute. Dozens of police showed up, and the man was arrested. He was a 33-year-old male who had been rejected by one of our girls. He came back with an axe to punch her, according to him. The sad part was, he managed to take a swing one of our girls icy. She lost 3 fingers that night, and she wasn't even the one who rejected him. I get strip clubs can be fun and all, but if you ever go, you need to be vigilant. These places attract some of the worst humans imaginable.